Hello, and here we are again, happy as can be. Back all locked down and back in our own little homes. Didn't last long, did it, all this face-to-face stuff? So, and we had a nice do at Christmas. We enjoyed the Christmas do. Well, I did anyway. Well, as long as you did, John, that's all right. Nobody else matters. Okay, those of you who were at the Christmas do will remember we had a visit from Northern Stereotype. And this is a song that I learned from Mr. Northern Stereotype, who comes from Black Pudding Country. See the lint flies out over the moorland, see the smoke to the valley clings. There's a slate roof shine in the drizzle. This is the valley where cotton was king. See the houses cling to the hillside, hear the streets of children sing. You wake to the scream of 1,000 factories. This is the valley where cotton is king. See how hunger has eaten the faces, tired flesh to the bones just clings. There's dust in the lungs and their bodies are twisted. This is the valley where cotton is king. Sleep is washed from the broken faces, morning clogs on the cobbles ring. Off to the mill the weavers go hurrying. This is the valley where cotton is king. You work all day to the loom's hard rhythm, scrabble and toil till your tired bones sing. Then you crawl back home with the gas lights flickering. This is the valley where cotton is king. This is the land where children have laboured, where life and death mean the self-same thing. Many must work so the few might prosper. This is the valley where cotton is king. Now see the clouds flying over the moorland, see how the graves to the valley sides cling. Look at the mills, they're idle and empty. This was the valley where cotton was king. This was the valley where cotton was king.
Lovely, John.
Right, we have a fiddle player over my shoulder.
Over my shoulder. No.
Just a tune called Ailsa Ann Anderson.
Happy New Year, Leslie.
Oh, Happy New Year.
Oh, by the way, Alan, we won the quiz last night.
Did you? Well
yes,
done.
easy.
You had no competition because I wasn't there.
There was no arguing.
Yes, Ruth and Andrew came second. He's sticking two fingers up at me. I think
Oh
he's
no, fair
indicating
play.
that,
That's serious promotion for Ruth and Andrew, by the way. Yeah, yeah. What's Happy New Year in Doric, Leslie? Is there such a thing?
No, not really.
What about your lum reeking and things like that?
Maybe a good New Year.
A good New Year. There you are.
A good.
It's give us a pint of lager, I'll break your face, Jimmy.
Off you go.
Right, okay.
Yay!
Beautiful, Leslie. Beautiful.
Whoop! Just a reminder to everybody, feel free to unmute yourselves and show your delight at the end
How
of
come
every...
she always gets more applause than me?
Oh, it's obvious, John, for
I was
God's
just
sake.
about to say she needs a new instrumentalist with her.
That's it, yeah.
I was going to say it's not because of the accompanist.
She's not gobby, John. Oh, well, she is actually, but she's not as gobby as you.
Now you lot have all made up for me doing anything nasty to him.
Oh, here he goes again. That's number
I've
5.
not started on you yet, Paul.
He's building up. Yeah.
Right, we have got Alan up in Capel Coig.
Good evening, all.
Evening out.
Evening, all. This
Evening,
is,
all.
Evening, all. One of my songs. It's sort of about why you sing or not. Because people always, I don't know, people get asked, well, why didn't you go on Britain's Top Talent? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you go into that? And really, it's my little answer to that, really, because that's not why you do it. It's called Why Do You Sing? Why do you sing? What does it bring? Joy to those who hear you. Where do you go? What do you know? When there's no one there to guide you, so don't try hard to be a star, 'cause you're alright just as you are. So don't push yourself too far, 'cause your friends know who you are. And when you get there, with who do you share? When there's no one left around you, it's lonely up there where nobody cares, and there's nothing left to cheer you. So don't try hard to be that star, 'cause you're alright just as you are. So don't push yourself too far, 'cause your friends know who you are. So don't be scared of what you do. Just be yourself and you'll pull through. Don't despair or give a care, 'cause with your music joy you'll share. So don't try too hard to build a facade and push this world behind you. Just be yourself, have fun and good health, and let this life astound you. So don't try hard to be that star, 'cause you're alright just as you are. So don't push yourself too far, 'cause your friends know who you are. Why do you sing?
Lovely, Alan. Lovely.
Come on, Alan.
I've missed your voice.
Put the baritone on because I've had a bit of a bit of a sore throat for about 2 weeks now, and I am testing negative but it just won't clear. So
You haven't tested negative?
I have tested negative.
Have they checked you for old age, Al?
No, well, that could be it. Thank you, Alan.
You see the power of chat. We were saying, who's missing? Where are they? Izzy and Jeff, and then Izzy appears.
Yeah,
There
right.
he is.
Oh, yes.
Izzy.
Hello, Izzy.
How's your
Happy
voice?
New Year.
How's your voice?
She's muted. You're muted, Izzy. Don't talk till you've unmuted yourself.
What a diff. It's still on its holidays, my voice, I'm afraid.
Oh, shame.
It came back, it went away again, it came back, and now it's gone again.
Oh,
Just
a bit of a yo-yo job.
Yeah. Little bit of stress, and it just disappears for a bit. So.
Fiddler's elbow, in and out all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
horse draws, up and down, up and down.
Oh, we'll look forward to next week to hearing you sing. You could always do a poem for us, you know, if your voice is a bit ropey.
I know
Sorry.
a good poem.
Oh, my
Yeah.
ropey.
Ladies and gentlemen, take my advice. Pull down your drawers and slide on the ice. That one do you?
When should we put her on for that one, John? Oh, she's done it
thank you.
already. Look,
Okay.
she's done it
She's
already.
been on, we're not doing it again.
Yeah, that's it. Lovely to see you, Izzy. Right.
And you, darling, too. As you
We can
sit here
fix
quietly
something
in the
for a
corner.
second time round if you want.
Right, where are we? Now for something completely different. Mr. Andrew Clapham.
Huzzah!
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. That's marvellous to say that, yeah. People often say that when I'm introduced. I don't think it's true. The song I'm going to sing tonight has things in common with all of the songs that have been sung so far and that you're all going to sing. Unless, correct me if I'm wrong, is anybody going to sing a song about a clitoris? No? So I've got something in common with you. Neither am I. This song doesn't contain the word clitoris, so you're okay. So we have got things in common, okay. This is a New Year's resolution song. It's about last year's New Year's resolution when I determined to be a new man. Okay. The first 5 or 6 lines are about the old man and are in a rather loud and raucous, aggressive style. Don't turn your volume down because after that I turn into a new man who's all genteel and quiet. So. I used to be a punker with a 9-inch gold medallion in the form of an erect and rampant stag. Divide the thighs and conquer. Brace yourself, here comes the stallion. Hold my medallion while I plant my flag. But I've put all out behind me, all my rampant sex and power days. I came to see the light and in the end I joined the Rhyl men's encounter group, and I'm much nicer nowadays. Since I worked out my true modus vivendi, I am a new man in everything I do. I am a new man, I'm a new man through and through. I eat whole food, I drink only tea to slake my manly thirst. I'm great with kids, I do those household jobs I hate the worst. Because I believe that in relationships the woman should come first, even if I should burst. Cause I'm a new man, I cried all through Casablanca. I'm a new man, some say I'm a total crank about it. I don't drive to work these days, I always try and bike it. The place is full of sexist talk, but I've done my best to spike it. I wear a skirt 3 days a week, I'd rather come to like it. I'm a poem in blue, new man. Yes, I'm a new man. I cook, I sew, I wash with Persil. I'm a new man, I'm deeply into role reversal. Like my better half's a cricketer with Rhyl women's bees. And though she loves it when I go to watch her do her googlies, I don't pretend to understand it, I'll just help out with a tease. Cause I'm an anxious to please new man. I've worked so hard to overcome the fact that I mail a dozen different ways a day to show her I'll never fail her. God, I make that Michael Palin look like Wlad the Impaler. I'm so nice, I've been vasectomized twice. Didn't hurt enough the first time. Yes, I'm a new man. I never laugh at sexist jokes, cause I'm a new man. I don't go drinking with the blokes. I just don't see what the attraction of a dozen pints of bitter is. You think of what the cost now of a decent babysitter is. I'd rather stay at home and stimulate my partner's intellect, as befits a correct new man. I don't understand why folk get shirty at the mention of that word. Half the population's got one, come on, don't be absurd. It's not a joke and it's not dirty, so you're well out of line. Show me yours and I'll show you mine, you sexy swines. Cause I'm a new man. I worship and respect my fellow human. I'm so sexually correct, I treat my partner's body as an edifice divine. I lay my votive candle at the portal of her shrine. And though she hasn't let me dick me wig since 1999, that's fine for a brand new man, that's what I am. I am a brand new, holier than you, tickety-boo new man. I am a brand new, holier than you, tickety-boo new man. Happy New Year. I am a true new man. Come on, let's hug.
There we are. Minutes in, Percy Phil.
That's a Grant Bainham song, by the way. I can't claim it as my own. I wish I could.
Oh, there we are. Oh, talking
Apologies,
of men, right, John?
apologies if I offended some of you.
I'm terribly offended by
Yeah,
that.
we're all shocked.
Ever so.
You laid your votive can. Oh dear, dear, dear.
Yeah.
Bruce, I was listening.
Alan, we have got Chaz and Jan's picture of them, well, when they were much, much younger, I think, down at the bottom there.
Yeah, they've left a message. Oh, sorry, yeah, go on.
Last night they said they would try and do something, so if you want to slide them up in front of you. They're
Done.
probably having
Look at that. Oh, hang on. What's happened there? Who's gone where? I've lost myself. I've got. Oh no, I'm there. I'm there. There they are. Oh, they haven't moved, have they? There they are. Try again.
They're helping.
Shuffle. I've shuffled the pack, John. There they are. We nearly got Ruth and Andrew, so Andrew would have had to do
Fields of Athen
Rye for the new year.
That's a good idea, Andrew, isn't it? Yeah.
There he is. Look at him. He's almost asleep already.
He's chomping
We
at the
want
bit.
Fields of Athen Rye.
Aren't you, Andrew? Yes.
And I reckon Ruth could recite a bloody good poem, to be perfectly honest. She sits there. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. Look.
He's in a strop, yeah. Where are we? Oh, Michael H is there.
Oh, talking of a new man.
With his yellow lighting on. You look a bit blurred, Mike. Can you sort of clean the lens or something?
Jaundiced, I would have said. Jaundiced.
On here.
How's your liver,
Put
Mike?
more lights on, but it came a bit brighter. It just comes a bit lighter, but it takes all the colour out.
We can't see your valuable artworks on the wall behind you, you see, when you do that.
Contrast, you want? You want contrast. Anyway, look at that. Give us a song, boy.
Okay, well, forget it. It looks, it's okay. It's a bit lighter, but you lose a bit of the intensity of the.
Well, the
colour.
good news is you sound like Mike Hawkins.
As long as you're happy, Al. This is called Geordie. It's one of the first songs I ever learned, and 60 years ago. Geordie. As I walked out over London Bridge, one misty morning early, I overheard a fair pretty maid lamenting for her Geordie. Come bridle me, my milk white horse. Come bridle me, my pony, that I may ride to London's court to plead for the life of Geordie. And when she entered in the hall, there were lords and ladies plenty. Down on her bended knee she falls to plead for the life of Geordie. My Geordie stole no cow nor calf, and sheep he ne'er stole any. He stole 16 of the king's royal deer, and sold them in Bohemy. Two brave children I've had by him, the third lies in my body, and if you would save my Geordie's life, I'd freely part from them, everyone. The judge looked over his left shoulder and said, my dear, I'm sorry, my pretty fair maid, you've come too late, for he's condemned already. Let Geordie hang in golden chains, such chains as there aren't any, because he came of royal blood and courted a virtuous lady. I wish I was in yonder grove, where times I have
been many, with my broadsword and my pistol too. I'd fight for the life of duty.
Great song.
Your voice is like Nivea, Mike. No, aloe vera, Nivea.
You only use it when you've got scabs and things.
Pseudo cream. I'm just trying to work out.
Got two meanings, that one, yeah.
Vaseline. It's like Vaseline.
Vaseline or Brill cream.
I think it's more like Malbec. Smooth.
Right. I'll take it different way. Your voice is like a good glass of Guinness, Michael.
Oh, black.
Oh, I'll take that.
Right, well, thanks for that, Mike. And we're moving next door to the box next door to Davith.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. This is a poem I first heard about a week ago on the radio. It's by an American poet called Edna St. Vincent Millay, and it's called Conscientious Objector. I shall die, but that is all I shall do for death. I hear him leading his horse out of the stall. I hear the clatter on the barn floor. He is in haste. He has business in Cuba, business in the Balkans, many calls to make this morning. But I will not hold the bridle while he clinches the girth. And he may mount by himself. I will not give him a leg up. Though he flick my shoulders with his whip, I will not tell him which way the fox ran. With his hoof on my breast, I will not tell him where the black boy hides in the swamp. I shall die, but that is all I shall do for death. I am not on his payroll. I will not tell him the whereabouts of my friends, nor of my enemies either. Though he promised me much, I will not map him the route to any man's door. Am I a spy in the land of the living, that I should deliver men to death? Brother, the password and the plans of our city are safe with me. Never through me shall you be overcome. Thank you.
Most appropriate that for this week. We lost a member of the Dragon's Breath Hungry Horse Folk Club last week.
Dear.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any of you knew Ian Chesterman, who ran the Wrexham Folk Club for years.
Yeah.
He died on Wednesday.
Oh dear.
And yesterday, Clive Pounceby, who ran the Southport Folk Club, also passed away on Thursday, yesterday. So,
The Bothy, that's the Bothy Folk Club, isn't it?
That's right, yes. Yeah.
Oh dear.
He ran a radio show as well, Clive.
That was a few days ago, that one, John.
Yeah.
Dear, oh dear. All the more reason why us old buggers should keep hanging on, I guess.
Exactly.
One day at a time, as the song goes.
All right.
We're still here.
Thanks for that, David. As I say, it was most appropriate for me anyway.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Right, thank you, David.
Very welcome.
We're moving up north and looking at them. Either they've got really good central heating, or they're dead hard. I mean, he's sat there in his short sleeve shirt. I'm imagining that Susan was one of these girls you see up in the northeast, in the middle of January with snow on the ground, with the 6-inch heels and a dress that's got less material in it than Terry Hiscock's album.
Nobody's safe.
You're fantasising again.
Right. Anyway, what have you pair got for us tonight?
Well, this isn't a proper song, actually. It was written by John Shepherd, our own Mr. Shepherd. He wrote it about growing up as a very young boy in Burnley. Does that sound Lancashire?
It's not bad, that. Yeah, Burnley.
Anyhow, so growing up as a very young boy, and specifically about his bedroom. And it was later covered by Kate Rusby and many others. It's called Underneath the Stairs.
Oh, well.
Underneath the stars I'll meet you. Underneath the stars I'll greet you. There beneath the stars I'll leave you before you go of your own free will. Go gently. Underneath the stars you met me. Underneath the stars you left me. I wonder if the stars regret me. At least you'll go of your own free will. Go gently. Here beneath the stars I'm landing. Here beneath the stars not ending. Why another my pretending? I'm here again, the stars befriending. They come and go of their own free will. Go gently. Here beneath the stars you met me. Here beneath the stars you left me. I wonder if the stars regret me. I'm sure they'd like me if they'd only met me. They come and go at their own free will. Go gently. Go gently. Go gently.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Come on then, Brian. You give us one. Let's get it over with.
After each tune.
Just a quick
Can I-
retune.
Alan, can I just try something, a bit of a sound check? Alun.
No, Alan.
Alin.
Yeah.
Alun.
Thank you. Alan is the
Can I
pronunciation.
try this? And Alexa,
You also
turn the
lose,
lights
John.
off.
You.
It worked. Oh dear.
You should have taught it Welsh.
That
Then
will
he
really,
couldn't
that will
do
really
that.
work on the recording, won't it? Where we're all pinned.
Sorry, just. I thought you'd have altered it by now. Anyway, this is a Jeslo song. One of the first ones I think we sang on here. It's The Burger.
You're now on my list, Brian, by the way.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's The Burger. Sleep while you wake me with these dreams you bring. Dreams came to me where I lay, and deep the melody the wild waves sing. My love is far, far away. Oh, pity the hearts the wild waves part. Me love sails the bonny bark the Bergen. Then they heap their nets upon the decks by light. Dreams came to me where I lay, and creep out gently at the dead of night. My love is far, far away. Oh, pity the hearts the wild waves part. Me love sails the bonny bark the Bergen. Then they reap a harvest from a cold night sea. Dreams came to me where I lay. It leaps with herring neath his decks for me. My love is far, far away. Oh, pity the hearts the wild waves part. Me love sails the bonny bark the Bergen. Oh, when steep waves rise above his cold bed, dreams came to me where I lay. Oh, keep him safe till I hear in my bed. My love is far, far away. Oh, pity the hearts the wild waves part. Me love sails the bonny bark the Bergen. Oh, it weeps with rain tonight where my love lies. Dreams came to me where I lay. Oh, sweep that foreign sand from out his eyes. My love is far, far away. Oh, pity the hearts the wild waves part. Me love sails the bonny bark the Bergen. Oh, pity the hearts the wild waves part. Me love sails the bonny bark the Bergen.
Lovely. The good news for Jeff Durno is he doesn't have to worry about bum notes because Brian's done them all for him.
We're saving it for the end.
Oh no, that was beautiful, beautiful. And I'm sure if Jeslo heard that, he'd be dead chuffed with that version.
Right, have you finished those Aberfrau biscuits that I got Vera to drop off?
Yes. Absolutely
yes, very nice.
beautiful. Gorgeous. Lovely.
All gone.
Don't forget this evening's sponsor is Welsh Rugby Union Gold. Oh, it's delightful. No, the good news is that Tesco couldn't sell it. Tesco couldn't sell it over Christmas, so they packaged it at effectively 65 pence a can. And there were about 45 cans, so I bought them all.
Well, you're on your 42nd now, are you?
No.
Alcohol unit pricing hasn't come to Wales then.
No, unit price is well ahead. We've got it in Wales. I don't know how they get away with it with stock like that.
You're cutting down now then, Alan?
It was £2.65 for 4 or something like that, and I reckon that's pretty good value. Even if it tasted shite. Sorry, even if it didn't taste as good as it does, but it does taste wonderful. Anyway,
last week I managed to buy beer in Wetherspoons in Ruthin at £4.80 a gallon.
Are you sure that?
I had a camera voucher.
Did they just tell you that was beer?
Fine. So 60p a pint.
Was it?
Yeah, they didn't tell you that was beer.
And then did you get back into your TARDIS and come back to the present day?
Well, I suddenly arrived here, yes.
They're almost Burnley prices, those.
You couldn't afford that in Burnley.
No, sorry, that's the footballers. That's that sort of price, isn't it?
Jeffrey, good to see you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Are you well?
Yeah, I'm good actually. I was going to do a Jez Lowe song because I've learned a Jez Lowe song, but seeing as Brian's just done one, I won't do 2 in a row.
Yeah, but he screwed it up.
Yeah.
You'll do it.
If
You'll
you
do
played
it
correctly,
fine.
you'd be fine.
There was a pretty good chance I might have screwed it up as well, so I think it's probably better left till another time.
I think Sue will be sacking him after tonight, actually.
So this is probably even more risky because I can see in the background behind John that Leslie's sitting there, and Leslie would do a far, far, far better job of this than I could possibly do. But this is an Adam McNaughton song that the McCalmans used to sing. It's called Yellow on the Broom. And it's probably one that anybody north of the border would know.
I haven't heard this for years. Black Eyed Biddy did a great version of that.
Black Eyed Biddy.
North of which border?
What?
I said north of which border?
Well, north of
the border.
Sort of north of Carlisle.
Are you keeping count on Paul, John?
Well, I ken you didn't like it lass, the winter here in Toon. The scald is I Miss Crius and tried to bring us down, and it's hard to raise 3 burns in a single flea box room. And I'll tack ye on the road again when yellow's on the broom. When yellow's on the broom, when yellow's on the broom. And I'll tack ye on the road again when yellow's on the broom. Well, Scaldis Christ tinker dirt, Scots are bairns in school, but who cares what a tinker thinks? Tinker's but a fool. He's ne'er heard the yarling sing or heard the flax in bloom, and his eye cooked up and who's this when yellow's on the broom? When yellow's on the broom, when yellow's on the broom, and his eye cooked up and who's this when yellow's on the broom? They sail for peg for baskets, but just to stay alive we have to work at scaldy jobs from 9 a.m. till 5, and we call no man our maester, though we own the world's room, and we'll bid farewell to Brecon when yellow's on the broom. When yellow's on the broom, when yellow's on the broom, and we'll bid farewell to Brecon when yellow's on the broom. Well, I'm yearning for the springtime when we tap the road once more, for the purling and the planting and the berry fields of Blair, where we'll meet up with our kinsfolk from all the world round, and the gun about folk tap the road when yellow's on the broom. When yellow's on about folk tap the road when yellow's on the broom. When yellow's on the broom, when yellow's on the broom, and the gun about folk tap the road when yellow's on the broom.
Who kept us hanging on then?
You tease! We were ready to clap. You tease.
One of your favourite telegraphed endings, isn't it?
That was lovely. An anti-telegraphed ending, that was.
Oh, we
Lovely,
just got into the habit of joining in choruses, haven't we? And then all this shit hit the fan again.
Yep.
Indeed.
Yeah.
There we are. Right. We are moving up to trading.
All right. Okay.
Pick your guitar up, John. Come on, get a grip.
I shall do this. Okay. There we are. We've just had a song about tinkers, and one of the first folk songs I ever learnt was the Raggle Taggle Gypsies, the tender age of 8, and it was taught us by a young, student teacher who had a penchant for black, and black hair, black skirt, black stockings, quite the beatnik look. And she got it, the famous book you used to have in the school, and she dug it out and we learnt Raggle Taggle Gypsies. It wasn't until much later I realised the inappropriateness of teaching 8-year-olds such a song. But this one is my adaptation. I've pinched some of the words for it, not the tune and so on, but... Romany Rye they call me Romany Rye. I spend my summers travelling beneath an endless sky. I rode up to the mill one day to share a friendly glass. The miller sadly told me the Lord had wed his lass. He said he tried to stop him, he thought it was obscene, for the Lord was over 60 and Mary not 18. Romany Rye they call me Romany Rye. It's what your children shout at me as I go riding by. After I'd heard his story, I could stay no more. I rode up to the manor house and I hammered on the door. A servant came and told me my master was away and had forbade his lady from walking out that day. Romany Rye they call me Romany Rye. I spend my summers travelling beneath an endless sky. I went down to the kitchen door, there began to sing. By the time I'd finished, she threw away his ring. She told me that she loved me and the Lord had forced her hand, for if she had not married him, he'd take her father's land. Romany Rye they call me Romany Rye. It's what your children shout at me as I go riding by. She then put on a cloak of wool, boots of finest leather. We rode away as the sun did set and made love in the heather. I swore that if I saw him, I'd kill him where he stood. She said you'd be no good to me, a hanging in the wood. Romany Rye they call me Romany Rye. I spend my summers travelling beneath an endless sky. The old man, he came after us. He rode north and south. He couldn't face the rejection that came out of her mouth. His face was red with anger, his hurt could not be borne, but he rode off dejected as his wife poured out her scorn. Romany Rye, they call me Romany Rye. It's what your children shout at me as I go riding by. You have to be After he rode o'er the heather, after he rode through the wood, the old man caught pneumonia, which I thought was quite good. Sorry about that. Let's start that again. After he rode o'er the heather, after he rode through the wood, the old man caught pneumonia, which I thought was quite good. He upped and died next morning. He couldn't catch his breath, so his money and the manor house passed to Mary on his death. Romany Rye, they call me Romany Rye. I spend my summers travelling beneath an endless sky, and Romany Rye, they call me Romany Rye. It's what your children shout at me as I go riding by, and Romany Rye, they call me Romany Rye. But I'm the lord of the manor too, so smile as I pass by.
Lovely, John. Good song.
Sorry about missing half of it then, but never mind, eh?
Lovely, John and Carol.
I was accompanying you on accordion. Not that you've done anything wrong to deserve that, but I was doing that in Prestatyn up here, and your stop-start approach to the song rather floored me.
Oh. I wonder why.
Well, you can't hear anything when you're playing an accordion. That's all you hear, you see.
This is true, yes.
It goes through your bones.
John, just say Alexa. That'll frighten me.
No.
What I would like, Alan, is for you to do that when I'm at the club live. That would be really nice.
Yeah, but will you do it stop-start?
That would be good fun. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's D minor. Nice, comfy key too. Lovely.
Should I
Carol,
say?
I'm not going to forget you, unlike your husband.
No. Unplug the bloody thing. Right, it's unplugged. Thank you, Brian. It's unplugged.
Apologies to anybody who doesn't like cats. Within our family, we have 4 cats.
We only have one.
Our son has 1 and our daughter has 2. And this is the family cat limericks. We have a black and white cat called Ellie, who likes you to tickle her belly. She rolls on the mat so you can do just that. That's our short-haired black and white cat called Ellie. Merry was Ellie's brother. He was long-haired like his mother. But he got out one day while we were away, so we had to say a sad farewell to Ellie's brother. Cara's family have 2 cats as well, a tabby and a tortoiseshell. But though mother and daughter, they don't get on as they ought to, 'cause out of love they fell. Keith's cat is called Captain Ginge. Hunting mice is quite his thing. But he's also a big softy puss who likes a huge fuss. He's a cuddlesome, ferocious Ginge. Thank you.
Thank you. I didn't really know what it was.
There was a little girl down the road here, Nancy, and she was out in the garden with a spade. And fella next door, who was a bit of a nosy bugger, sort of leaned over the hedge and said, "Oh, what you doing there, Nancy?" And she said, "I'm just burying my goldfish. He's dead." And he looked down and said, "Oh, that's a big hole you've been digging for a goldfish, Nancy." She said, "Yeah, it was inside your fucking cat." Right, Brian.
That's dreadful.
Why?
Right. Okay, this is a song written by Randy Travis and sung by Carrie Underwood and Randy Travis. And I'm going to sing this with Linda. Or she's going to sing most of it, and I'll join it. She's going to start it off anyway.
Suppose I called you up tonight and told you that I love you, and suppose I said I want to come back home, and suppose I cried and said I think I finally learned my lesson, and I'm tired of spending all my time alone. If I told you that I realize you're all I ever wanted, and it's killing me to be so far away, would you tell me that you love me too, and would we cry together? Would you simply laugh at me and say, "I told you so, oh, I told you so. I told you someday you'd come crawling back and asking me to take you in. I told you so, but you had to go. Now I found somebody new, and you will never break my heart in two again."
If I got down on my knees and told you I was yours forever, would you get down on your two and take my hand? Would we get that old-time feeling, and would we laugh and talk for hours, the way we did when our love first began?
Would you tell me that you've missed me too, and that you've been so lonely, and you've waited for the day that I return?
And we'd live and love forever, and that I'm your one and only? Or would you say the tables finally turned?
Would you say I told you so? Oh, I told you so. I told you someday you'd come crawling back and asking me to take you in. I told you so, but you had to go.
Now I've found somebody new, and you will never break my heart in two again.
Now I've found somebody new, and you will never break my heart in two again. Thank you.
Who did you say that was by, Brian?
Randy Travis.
It might not be a bad plan if Paul Clark started calling himself Randy Clark. He might improve his image a little bit.
Here we go. I can't imagine having a baby. I can't imagine having a baby. Full stop. I can't imagine being a parent to a baby and thinking, what are we going to call him? We'll call him Randy. It's just not on, is it? You just wouldn't.
He might have been Randolph originally.
And chose to be Randy.
Yes, of course. Yeah. There's also Randy Newman, which I
there
suppose...
Is. Oh, there's lots of
Randys. I suppose it's better than being a Randy old man, but...
Yeah.
Well, ask Randy Clapham.
Ooh, dangerous ground.
Not Rupert.
It's not too far from Yorkshire to Hampshire, you know. He'll find you. Yeah, he'll find you and then look out.
Moving on. Terry, we haven't seen you for weeks. And I have to ask, is that what's that? Is it a VC10 there behind you?
It is. Well spotted.
What?
I made a lot of Airfix kits when I was a kid.
Nothing else to do in Burnley, John.
No. I used to go and steal them from Woolies and then glue them together.
Yeah. They would have been the Sopwith Camel, I suppose. Was it in your day?
Right, that's another one down on your list.
Yes,
boy.
thank you.
Good effort, Brian. Terry, good effort.
Yeah,
No
I know.
cigar for that one. No cigar.
There we go. Yes, the Airfix kits were good. Well, just I was ever so sad to hear about Clive Pounceby from Southport. I had no idea that he was poorly at all. I was in touch with him before Christmas.
I don't think he was that poorly, Terry. He just died of a heart attack. It was
a very sudden heart attack. I think it was 4 or 5 days ago. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
What a great shame that was. We were back in the day. We did an album that was produced by Keith Relf of the Yardbirds, and we got an email from this guy called Clive up in Southport, and he said, "I've never heard of you boys, but I'm president of the Keith Rhyl fan club or something or other, a real aficionado, and I'll book you just on the strength of your having met him." So we went up and that's how we got to know Clive, and what a lovely guy he was. So I shall do this song, which is kind of appropriate.
He said he always regretted that decision.
He probably did. But he put us up a couple of times. It was,
Poignant moment, John. You can be guaranteed to spoil it, can't you?
No, that's what needs to happen. I think Clive would have done that just as well.
Yeah. Keith Ralph was a fantastic singer. Why he left the Yardbirds, I don't know, but there you go.
He was very good. He spent most of the time in the control booth smoking huge great spliffs and telling us the sound was great even when it wasn't, but he was a lovely guy. I'm looking out at the stars tonight, across the western sky. The whole thing's moving at the speed of light. I don't know where or why. Maybe it's just a great escape. Heaven only knows. But they'll all be back tomorrow night, and for now they have nowhere else to go. He never said he was done with this. He said, "I'm gonna see it through." It doesn't matter if they shake their heads. The doctors don't have a clue. You and I, we should head out east, maybe go to Mexico. But when he closed his eyes, I realized that for now he had nowhere else to go. I might go down to the waterfront, looking out to sea, thinking about what a friend had said, something that he said to me. And I watched the waves come rolling in and falling on the rocks below. From far across the sea they came, and for now they have nowhere else to go. I might go down to Mexico, maybe head for Spain, spend some time in the Western Isles, or head on south again. Looking out at the sea and the stars, there's a woman I used to know. She's waited for me all these years, 'cause she knew I had nowhere else to go.
Fabulous, Terry.
You see, subtle is often lost on people, but no, not there. Yeah, lovely.
Thanks for listening.
Oh, it's great.
The most disappointing bit about having to go back on Zoom is that in a fortnight's time, Terry was due to be up here with us.
Yeah, he was. We're looking forward to that. Oh.
So I've been looking forward to that for weeks.
We'll do it again. We'll do it again.
We'll do it again. I've got a hot water bottle in your bed ready for you. You know, there.
Great. Lovely.
You'll need it up in that bloody attic, I'll tell you. Right, thank you. That was lovely as always, Terry.
Delicious. I put a little note on about rubato. For those that don't know what rubato means, musical.
I thought he was the Italian goalkeeper.
Ah, well, exactly. There's always one, and it's always you. Yeah. Anyway, I'll shut up then. You know, no, it was just that you just slow down, you just quicken up ever so slightly. It's this subtlety thing. I've never cracked it myself, but rubato is when you vary the tempo to match your feelings, and it makes the song sound like you've never sung it before. Makes it sound like live.
I thought it was an Italian grape.
Oh, here we go. There we are. Right.
I've got to say that Paul's comment on the chat is the best we've had there tonight. Right.
Yeah.
Down
It's
to
not
Surrey.
when you vary the tempo because you're a drummer, then.
No, drummers. No, there's musicians and there's drummers.
Ah. Yes, it's a different.
I'm of that school.
And there's Baran players who are like...
how dare you.
No,
Next week. Next week, my Boran's coming out.
Baran players are like philosophers. They think that time is an abstract concept. Right, where have we got? Oh, wait, Mike.
Of course it is.
The only rubato you'll get from me is if I forget where I'm supposed to be in the song.
My Boran's coming out next week, John, for that.
Don't join me in that mistake, Mike, please.
Come on, Mike, give it some welly.
I thought it was compulsory. Okay. Well, there's a moral to this song. If you drive onto a beach in the dead of night with someone else's wife in the car, try to have worked out beforehand the tide tables of whether the water's going in or out. This song, I think it was based on a song by Dominic Behan, and there were some words from Paddy Riley. There's another version of this which is much ruder, but I'm not going to do that.
You're in Rhyl, Mike. You can do what you want.
On Dollymount Strand on a cold winter's night, I put on the handbrake and switched out the light. I looked at me bird and says, "Aye, you're all right." Myself and the architect's daughter. The sea, oh the sea, it crept upon me, and the water was rising up quite rapidly. Says I to the mop, "Get your hands off me knee, can't you see we're surrounded with water?" We turned on the ignition and put it in gear. the sand in the old carburetor. The sea, oh the sea, it crept upon me, and the water was rising up quite rapidly. Says I to the mob, get your hands up in the air, can't you see we're surrounded with water? With water the car was soon filled to the brim. I said to the mob, dear, our chances are slim, so come not get them off, 'cause we won't have to swim. So I let down the window and started. The sea, oh the sea, it crept upon me, and the water was rising up quite rapidly. Says I to the mob, get your hands up in me, can't you see we're surrounded with water? So if ever you go down to Darley Strand, make sure that the tide's out and everything's planned, for a bird in the bush is worth two in the sand, regardless to what you are after. The sea, oh the sea, it crept upon me, and the water was rising up quite rapidly. Says I to the mob, get your hands up Minnie, can't you see we're surrounded with water? Thank you.
He's lost without Helen. Lost. Totally lost without Helen, isn't he?
Yeah.
Good effort for an accompanist, Mike.
Thank you.
Helen in the background. Helen smirking quietly in the background.
Smirking with a lisp.
Yeah,
Smirking. Smirking, yeah.
Right, well, thanks, Mike, and hopefully you'll be in a threesome next week with the lovely Irene as well.
That's what we're hoping.
That's the plan.
Build yourself up in the meantime, Mike.
Yeah, he needs to.
Yeah, I'm doing the morning and evening exercises. And
Did you have to take all that nice clobber back to Burton's after our Christmas do?
oh yeah. The same charity shop anyway.
Right, thanks for that. Ian.
Right, thanks very much, John. Okay, Happy New Year everyone. Now I'm going to take you back 50 years to the song that was #1 in the charts exactly 50 years ago, in January 1972. It was by the New Seekers, originally used in a Coca-Cola advert, and it's I'd like to teach the world to sing. I'd like to build the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to hold it in my arms and keep it company. I'd like to see the world for once all standing hand in hand, and hear them echo through the hills for peace throughout the land. That's the song I hear, let the world sing today. A song of peace that echoes on and never goes away. I'd like to build the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to hold it in my arms and keep it company. I'd like to see the world for once all standing hand in hand, and hear them echo through the hills for peace throughout the land. And hear them echo through the hills for peace throughout the land. Thank you.
Lovely, Ian. Lovely.
Right, thank you, Ian. And we've got to, he's lubricating his tonsils.
Have we got the wrong drink sponsor on that Welsh Rugby Union stuff for that song? I think.
Right, what are you going to do then with your baritone guitar?
This is a Jeff Higginbottom song that I've had a little reworking of, but
a good Lancastrian.
Absolutely, indeed, yes. Once there was a mill that stood on high atop a hill. We walked the road to work there every day. The cloth we made was fine and like a glass of brandy wine. It used to keep the wintry northern winds at bay. Now there's only weeds and rubble, where honest men would labour with their hands. Others took the toil and left us with the trouble, as they shipped the jobs away to foreign lands. Once there was a mine where those black diamonds used to shine. We thought we'd be employed there many's the year, until cheap imported coal had dumped us all out on the dole. Now the wind soughs through the rusting pithead gear. Now there's only weeds and rubble, where honest men would labour with their hands. Others took the toil and left us with the trouble, as they shipped the jobs away to foreign lands. Once there was a foundry out upon the old town boundary. The steel we made was sent the whole world over, but we watched our factory fall beneath their demolition ball. Now the former furnaces are choked with clover. Now there's only weeds and rubble, where honest men would labour with their hands. Others took the toil and left us with the trouble, as they shipped the jobs away to foreign lands. Once there was a street, a nook-filled corner pub to meet in, with proper ale and real chat, such simple pleasures. But the brewery, the cheapskates, said the site didn't earn its keep. Now we drink silent, separate, out of cans from Tesco's. Now there's only weeds and rubble, where honest men would labour with their hands. Others took the toil and left us with the trouble, as they shipped the jobs away to foreign lands. Once there was community, a spirit here of you and me, until officialdom tore out our city's heart, when they housed us in the sky in tower blocks many stories high. Now us quotes neighbours feel a million miles apart. Now there's only weeds and rubble, where honest men would labour with their hands. Others took the toil and left us with the trouble, as they shipped the jobs away to foreign lands, leaving but memories of towns once so grand. Weeds and rubble.
Suppose that was all right. The baritone guitar.
Not bad, but if you're going to sing a northern song, you've got to get your vowels right.
Oh,
you know,
sorry.
it's glass and it's trouble.
Oh, trouble. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You know, we've got standards here at Rhyl.
We don't have glass.
I do know that. I do know that. I don't know how high they are, but
Mr. Clark.
Oh.
Right, Linda.
Hiya, I'm going to do Gordon Lightfoot's Song for a Winter's Night. The lamp is burning low upon my tabletop. The snow is softly falling. The air is still within the silence of my room. I hear your voice softly calling. If I could only have you near to breathe a sigh or two, I would be happy just to hold hands I love upon this winter night with you. The smoke is rising in the shadows overhead. My glass is almost empty. I read again between the lines upon the page the words of love you sent me. If I could know within my heart that you were lonely too, I would be happy just to hold the hands I love upon this winter night with you. The fire's dying now, my lamp is growing dim. The shades of night are lifting. The morning light steals across my window pane, where webs of snow are drifting. If I could only have you near to breathe a sigh or two, I would be happy just to hold the hands I love upon this winter night with you. Just to be once again with you.
Lovely.
Ah, lovely. I'm not sure whether you were singing that song to me, Linda. But
I'm singing it to you all. It's lovely to see you all again.
It felt like it. It felt like it. Yeah.
Thank you for your Merry Christmas and Happy New Year wishes. Brian passed them on to me, so thank you all.
Thank you.
Right, it's the gaffer.
Yay!
Right. I thought doing a request tonight, and the request is from Gregory. Now, Gregory is a rabbit who lives down bottom of my garden. Well, not bottom of my garden, because bottom of my garden goes all the way to New York. Got a very big pond, but by the gate. He lives by the gate, does Gregory, and actually, there's quite a few rabbits live down by the gate, so I took the precaution of calling them all Gregory so that I didn't have to tell them apart, because I can't. And anyway, he likes this song because it mentions rabbits, and it's not many songs about Napoleon mention rabbits, and he feels very threatened if you sing a song about Napoleon and you don't put any rabbits in it. So I usually put the rabbits in it for him because he's a rabbit and he's like rabbits. And he's not that fond of Napoleon. And the reason I chose to sing it tonight is only because it was requested, but because I was a little bit croaky, and this is a song that sounds less bad than most of my songs when I'm a little bit croaky. So here we go. It's true as well. It's true. It's a true song. That's why Gregory likes it. He doesn't like being lied to, not being a rabbit. Can't trust anybody. Oh, Napoleon, he's a rotten shot. But don't tell him I told ya. Lucky he's the emperor, 'cause he'd never make a soldier. Be daft enough to mention it, you bet your boots he'll scold ya. Napoleon, he's a rotten shot, but don't tell him I told ya. Now when he studied gunnery, he always got his sums right, but never grasped the principle that underpins the gun sight. His teachers of artillery, without exception, claim that he never missed a target but the one he tried to aim at. Napoleon, he's a rotten shot, but don't tell him I told ya. Lucky he's the emperor, 'cause he'd never make a soldier. Be daft enough to mention it, you bet your boots he'll scold ya. Napoleon, he's a rotten shot, but don't tell him I told ya. Now Marshal Berthier thought he'd make life easy for his leader, and he bought 1,000 rabbits from a local rabbit breeder. Disaster struck Napoleon with the hungry bunny's freedom. They charged at him 'cause he looked like the bloke who used to feed 'em. Napoleon, he's a rotten shot, but don't tell him I told ya. Lucky he's the emperor 'cause he'd never make a soldier. Be daft enough to mention it, you bet your boots he'll scold ya. Napoleon, he's a rotten shot, but don't tell him I told ya. Now Masséna, he rules the day. He joined the shooting party, to which he'd been invited by Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon's concentration lapsed the moment he let fly ball. Napoleon lost his rabbit and Masséna lost his eyeball. Napoleon, he's a rotten shot, but don't tell him I told ya. Lucky he's the emperor 'cause he'd never make a soldier. Be daft enough to mention it, yeah, bet your boots he'll scold ya. Napoleon, he's a rotten shot, but don't tell him I told ya. Now Marshal Ney the crown betrayed, and he was tried for treason, and so was sentenced to be shot, and not without good reason. Now have you any last request before we do our duty? I'd be obliged if you would ask Napoleon to shoot me. Napoleon, he's a rotten shot, but don't tell him I told ya. Lucky he's the emperor, he'd never make a soldier. Be daft enough to mention it, yeah, I bet your boots he'd scold ya. Napoleon, he's a rotten shot, but don't tell him I told ya. At Waterloo, he met his doom. The Allies were victorious, chose exile over suicide because it seemed more glorious. But military historians who've studied the events vow that if he tried to shoot himself, we'd all be speaking French now. Napoleon, he's a rotten shot, but don't tell him I told ya. Lucky he's the emperor, 'cause he'll never make a soldier. Be daft enough to mention it, you bet your boots he'll scold ya. Napoleon, he's a rotten shot, but don't tell him I told ya.
Oh, yes. Poor old Napoleon.
Didn't I get it, didn't he, eh?
The French think he's a good bloke. Where's Evelyn? There she is. Napoleon, thumbs up or thumbs down, Evelyn? Thumbs up, there we are.
I'd say that too. If I had three thumbs, I put two of them up and the other one down.
Apparently he got somebody to pay to decorate his flat, I heard. But,
no.
We're not going there.
But there are some enormous statues of Napoleon on an enormous horse. And he was a little bloke. And there's nothing wrong with being a little bloke. I'm a little bloke. And therefore...
You're about 17 stone.
No, how dare you? 18?
He was
How
actually
dare you?
sat on a donkey, but they made it look like a big horse.
Yeah.
If they could have swapped the arsenic wallpaper with the expensive stuff in Boris Johnson's flat, we'd have probably been better off both ways.
Yeah. Well, little Lulu, what's her name? Little Lulu, the designer, she's done well out of it, I think. She got a lot of publicity. What's her name? Little Lulu. No.
Yeah, Lulu something.
Lulu something.
Boom, bang, a bang.
Yeah.
Oh, there we are.
Obviously, it's done really well for her brand recognition. If you're all going
Right, shut up, the lot of you. Shut up.
No, I won't.
No, we won't.
Rabbits are gregarious, so Gregory's a good name.
Chaz and Jan. Chaz and Jan, you've been helping the neighbours tonight or something?
Yes, we have indeed done our good deed for the day. During the week, I took a parcel in from next door, and it was a TV stand. So I knocked the door.
Dub.
Yep. Exactly, yes. So I handed it across. She said, "Oh yes, this is for my new telly." She said, "I had a glass of wine too many last night, and I bought a 65-inch colour telly." She said, 65-inch, and it came today. And of course, she's 74. She can't lift the thing up the stairs. So we've taken upon ourselves to help her get it all set up.
Yes, it took a while.
It took a while.
Is she very short-sighted?
I had to take the door frame off. Did you get it in?
Well, she needs lots of glasses.
Bad. Right,
anyway, song.
And I'm very sorry about last night that you lost so heavily at the quiz.
We didn't. We weren't last night. For a change.
Weren't last night. We weren't last night. We weren't
Right, sing the song. Come on.
Okay, bit of Welsh again this time. Traditional Welsh song about a blacksmith and the local community, and also a bit of rejection at the end. It's a very traditional Welsh song. Fein da difyr ydyw gweled, miggledy-maggly, hey now. Drws yr efail yn agored, miggledy-maggly, hey now. Ar go bach ei wyneb pyrddi, miggledy-maggly, hey now. Yn yr efail yn brysur chwythu, miggledy-maggly, hey now. Fein da difyr hir nos geia, miggledy-maggly, hey now. Mynd i'r efail am y cyntaf, miggledy-maggly, hey now. Pan fo rhew ac eira allan, miggledy-maggly, hey now. Gorau pwynt fydd wrth y pentan, miggledy-maggly, hey now. Fein da braf yw sŵn y fegin, miggledy-maggly, hey now. Gwrando chwedl can ag englyn, miggledy-maggly, hey now. Par fo'r cwmni yn neuafiaeth, miggledy-maggly, hey now. Ceir hanestion lawer noswaith, miggledy-maggly, hey now. Pan ddaw'r môr I ben y mynydd, miggledy-maggly, hey now. A'i ddwy ymyl at ei gilydd, miggledy-maggly, hey now. A'r coed roses yn dwy'n fala, miggledy-maggly, hey now. Dyna'r pryd y ceid I finna, miggledy-maggly, hey now.
Hey, bravo.
David.
Ti'n glywed tipyn bach o Gymraeg? Yeah.
Dipyn bach.
Yeah.
Have you got anything we can understand?
Do you want to go in that?
We just heard it, John.
Yeah, those who are not blessed are not blessed.
Exactly. I think we can manage another one.
Iaith yn efo.
Yeah, we'll have a go. This is again because our youngest has returned to the south and to the sea. If I had been born 200 years ago, I would have been a sailor, and sailing I would go. I'd sail down the capes, across the 7 seas, and then back home. If I had been born 200 years ago. And I would know the waters, and the waters would know me. I'd cut across the waves and be as happy as can be. I'd be landless, I'd be loveless, I'd be flight and fancy free. I would know the waters, and the waters would know me. If I had been born 200 years ago, I would have been a sailor, and sailing I would go. I'd sail around the capes, across the 7 seas, and then back home. If I had been born 200 years ago.
And when I think about the place and time where I was born, I wonder if the hands of fate had slipped and placed me wrong, 'cause there are ships I could have sailed and sailors' boots I could have worn. When I think about the place and time where I was born.
If I had been born 200 years ago, I would have been a sailor, and sailing I would go. I'd sail around the Cape, across the 7 seas, and then back home. If I had been born 200 years ago. But the ocean is still out there, magnificent and wide. She's got open arms to hold me, and endless space to hide. And the only things that hold me back are the things I hold inside. The ocean is still out there, magnificent and wide. If I had been born 200 years ago, I would have been a sailor, and sailing I would go. I'd sail around the Capes, across the 7 seas, and then back home. If I had been born 200 years ago. Ooh, 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 sailing I would go.
Yeah.
Finish. Ooh, lovely, lovely. An ooh finish.
Oh yeah.
Indeed.
And
well, we've just about got round one, so we've just got Alan. And then we start again. And Gloria will spot that we've slotted her in after me. So that is your slot, okay? And I see we've got
the slot.
We've got Michael here. I'm glad he's found us. I hope he didn't turn up down at Tea Nowith, because he's been coming quite regular down there.
Oh, is he in? Is he in?
Yep.
Hi. He's next to Peter Audience. It's lovely to see all these people. I mean, it's a shame that we're back on Zoom, but it's lovely to see you all.
Oh, Michael is unmuted. He is about to speak.
Oh.
Better late than never.
Well, no, good to see you. And how's your leg?
Don't ask.
Still waiting. Oh, well, you're buggered for a bit now, I think, aren't you? Anyway, we hope to be when we get back. We hope to see you limping in when we open up at Tea Nowith again.
Cheers.
So we're back with Alan. Wake up, boy.
No. Sponsor for this bit is this fella here.
Oh,
Ben Bracken.
no.
Now,
Yeah.
Ben Bracken. Now, I'm not sure that this is a chap that lives on hillsides.
Yeah.
But
He's in the Brecon Beacons.
They do some lovely. There's a nice Isla Ben Bracken as well.
No, this is Speyside, but I'm just taking a little purely for medicinal purposes, you'll understand.
I do the same, Alan. Yes, indeed.
Indeed, yes.
Oh.
If you're going to be, by the time we get to the end of round 2, Alan, if you're going to be completely pissed out your brains, do you want me to move you a bit further forward?
No, how very dare you. As if. As very if.
It was very entertaining when he was pissed out of his brains last time, wasn't he?
Well, I have to say, I have an accordion under the table here, and I'll bring it out if this carries on.
Oh, come on.
Well, go under the table, yes.
Alan, you've not actually been pouring Ben Bracken into your accordion, have you?
No.
That it's under the table.
Come on, as Dylan Thomas said.
I will.
As Dylan Thomas said, listen, time passes.
It does. I have an unaccomplished song. It's a real song. It's not written by me or anything like that. It's by Dave Goulder, the dry stone wall railway enthusiast. Oh, probably Rowley knows him. Anyway, it's very apt for this time of the year. It's unaccompanied, and I don't care who knows it. I've got my glasses on, and I'm reading the words. It's called The January Man, as you would guess. I'll try to pick a reasonable key. Here we go. The January man, he walks abroad in woolen coat and boots of leather. The February man still shakes the snow from off his hair and blows his hands. The man of March, he sees the spring and wonders what the year will bring. And no hopes for better weather. Through April rains the man goes down to watch the birds come in to share the summer. The man of May stands very still, watching the children dance away the day. In June the man inside the man is young and wants to lend a hand and grins at each newcomer. And in July the man in cotton shirt, he sits and thinks on being idle. The August man in thousands takes the road to watch the sea and find the sun. September man is standing near to saddle up and lead the year, and autumn is his bridle. The man of New October takes the reins, and early frost is on his shoulder. The poor November man sees fire and wind and mist and rain and winter air. December's man looks through the snow to let 11 brothers know they're all a little older. And the January man comes round again in woolen coat and boots of leather to take another turn and walk along the icy road he knows so well. The January man is here for starting each and every year along the way forever.
Splendid, Mr. Rhys Jones. Lovely.
Smashing song. Smashing song, but I can't learn the words. That's it. Done for another year now. Yeah, lovely song. Yeah.
I bet you've been bricking it all night in case somebody else sang that, haven't you?
No, I've got several up my sleeve, John. I've got several.
Yes,
others.
but you wanted that one because
I did. Yeah,
it's your only chance. Right.
First. There we are. Right, I'll shut up.
Okay, we've only managed to get halfway. It's because you lot have been yakking all the time again.
Oh yeah.
So and just to
And
remind
singing
you,
and things like that. Yeah.
just to remind you all that in another 24 weeks the Knights will be drawing in again. Right, first song I did was about cotton mills. This one's just about factories. Ralph McTell's song. Hurrying across the bridge before the sirens call. This morning she's chasing her shadow all along the factory wall, and through the gate where she will wait in line. Across the yard to clock a card in time. And under her scarf, her hair set in curls, day begins with a factory girl. For a while the girls try to talk, their voices soon drowned in the din. Their eyes watch their hands do the work, and a new day's rhythm begins. No change yesterday, the same. Dinner soon, then afternoon, and then home, hurrying home in the fading light. Factory girl is going out tonight. Her mama says, don't you be late, you gotta get up again before 8. Yes, she cries, but there's joy in her eyes. She runs down the path to the gate. Out on the rainy streets, hoping that the night will last. No whispering palms on the beach for her, just the swish of the cars going past. And she believes no one could feel the same. Touching and whispering in the rain. The rain takes away her beautiful curls. Night is soon gone for the factory girl. And hurrying across the bridge before the sirens call. This morning she's skipping the puddles all along the factory wall. The starling sings, he shakes his wings, she smiles. And at the gate she hesitates a while. From inside the gate the sirens roar. Across the yard runs the factory girl.
Beautiful, John.
King John. Lovely, lovely.
Favourite song for you, John?
Even Carol says that's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
Yeah, pity to screw it up, really, isn't it?
Good for you, you know.
No, it was very well sung, John. Very well sung.
Right, moving on. Gloria. Gluria. Have you got a shanty?
No, not tonight. No,
Oh, well, bugger off then.
I wasn't prepared, really. I wasn't sure I was coming on. So it's just, I was going to do a wee poem, but tell Alan it's now a longer poem, not a wee one. I found, and this is by someone that lives in Cornwall.
A wee poem?
A wee poem, but not
good.
wee.
Not as in urination. No. Right. Okay, okay.
About something else. Yeah.
I stand corrected.
But anyway, it's not that one anyway now, it's a different one. Right, okay. We've been out walking late today and running round the park with lots of owners and their dogs that bounce and jump and bark. But now we're tired and heading home. A shortcut through the town. We're walking past the takeaway where all sorts hang around. A scruffy chap with greasy hair comes up to us and grins. He asks me if I've got some spare cash and rattles his old tin. I shake my head and tell him no. I didn't bring my purse. He stares at me, narrows his eyes and spits a nasty curse. If I can't have your cash today, I'll have your bag of food. He shows me the point of his knife. It's blackened, sharp and crude. I hand the steaming bag to him and we run off in haste. We hurry round the corner before he investigates. A scream of horror fills the air. He's emptied out the bag. Hopefully a lesson learnt for this menacing lag. Not all the bags of steaming stuff contain hot takeout food. We walkers and our little dogs keep bags for doggy doos. Thank you. So that was worse than we, wasn't it, Alan?
I've dealt with shit before.
We know, Alan.
One of my pet hates, just one of them, I've got a lot, okay,
Gonna say.
is these people who go around and they pick up the dog shit, put it in a bag, and then they hang it on a tree or stick it on a wall somewhere.
They do it outside my house here now, all the time. At my little cutaway,
Exactly.
my back gate.
Yeah. We've
That's
a
almost
bin
worse
across the road which should be used for dog shite.
Yeah.
And instead they leave it around it. Or, you know.
That's almost worse than leaving it there to tread in.
I think we need a Facebook group on this, really.
Dog poo.
Dog poo, yes. Yeah.
There are plenty.
Right. Have you got a song about Shogdite, Alan?
No, I haven't, but I disappeared for a while because my big computer, which I've got a very big screen, it just decided to blow up on me.
What, your mainframe?
Well, no, it's not. It's just all-in-one, like with a 40-inch screen or whatever. But it's so I'm down to a little laptop. So I don't know what the sound range is going. I've got original sound on. I've had to change my mic.
40-inch screen. Did you not hear the story about the 65-inch screen?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I did. So yeah, now you're all very tiny little muppets in my little laptop now. So
the sound is fine, Alan.
I don't know. So anyway, this is actually it's another.
Good, yeah.
I do apologise to all you at Dragon's Breath. I'm going to do another Ralph McTell. I did it.
You're not going to repeat yourself again, Manouche, are you?
Yes, I am. Not often, but you all do when you do a new song. I forgot what it's called now. Weather the Storm. So you're finally over it now. You thought you wouldn't make it, but I knew you would somehow. I guess I knew that you would make it in the end, and it's good to have you round again, old friend. And you weather the storm, you weather the storm, you weather the storm, and you come up smiling in the end. So you're over all the disappointments now. You thought you wouldn't make it, but I knew you would somehow. I guess it still hurts to think of the bad times that you've had, but it's over and you're round again, old friend. And you weather the storm, you weather the storm, you weather the storm, and you come up smiling in the end. Into every life a little rain must fall, and for sure it poured down on you. An umbrella's no good in a hurricane, but just like the sun, in the end you come shining through. And you weather the storm, you weather the storm, you weather the storm, and you come up smiling in the end. So you see, it's getting better now. You look a little battered, well, we all do anyhow. When the break is mended, it can be stronger than before. So don't go butting doors or punching walls. And you weather the storm, you weather the storm, you weather the storm, and you come up smiling in the end. Whoa. weather the storm, oh, weather the storm, oh, and come up smiling in the end.
Lovely, lovely, Alan. Bit song.
Come on, Wednesday, pick today. So pick your pick.
Yeah, no, I didn't mind. I didn't mind that twice at all, Alan.
Thank you very much.
That was very good.
You do know that if you're watching
Terry
this all on...
Hitchcock's stuff in his face, he's not passing it round, is he?
Nice
He's not offering anybody else any.
Who's that? Mike in Surrey? Where is
No,
he?
Terry's eating.
Oh, Terry.
It's just cold spinach. You wouldn't want it anyway.
Cold spinach. Nothing wrong with that.
Who are you, Popeye?
God. Kill me.
You've a lot wrong with that.
Popeye the Sailor Man, he lives in a caravan. There's a hole in the middle through which he can whittle. You see, even at my younger days, grammar was very important. Through which he can whittle. Thank you.
Ah. So you
Indeed,
didn't end
so,
a
Alan.
sentence with a proposition such as through.
Moving on. Andy.
Okay. And now for something completely different. I'm going to do a serious song. One what I writ myself, so you don't get many of those. So I believe you classify those as not a proper song, is that right? Called Man of Peace. What's this I hear the old man say as he downed another beer, about this man who fights for peace? It can't be done, not here. You see, it's all been tried before. The laughter, joy and fun. He shook his head, sipped his drink and said, my son, it can't be done. My son, it can't be done. Now the time has come for the leaves to fall, and the icy winds do blow. Let's hope this man who fights for peace gets through before the snow. The word gets passed from there to here that he fights with many friends, and the banners they hold high aloft, or the message that he sends. All he wants is love and peace between his fellow men. The old man lit his pipe and said, my son, it can't be done. My son, it can't be done. Now the time has come for the leaves to fall and the icy winds do blow. Let's hope this man who fights for peace gets through before the snow. See, my son, there was a man who tried this once before, telling folk around the world to stop their ways of war. And though some listened and agreed to what he had to say, the rest just picked their weapons up and turned the other way, and turned the other way. Now the time has come for the leaves to fall and the icy winds do blow. Let's hope this man who fights for peace gets through before the snow. know some people will not fight if given gun in hand, but some will draw the weapon to protect their home and land. It's those who kill with hate and greed who really need to know. Let's hope this man who fights for peace gets through before the snow. Gets through before the snow. Now the time has come for the leaves to fall and the icy winds do blow. Let's hope this man who fights for peace gets through before the snow. Gets through before the snow.
Ooh. Oh, you're not the moron that you make out to be, eh, Andy?
Did you use a diminished seventh chord there? Because if you did,
Yes,
you'd be
it
banned from every folk club in the country. You know that.
All right.
Yes,
Sorry,
I spotted that
Welcome,
one.
welcome at the folks'll.
Is that the last one, you mean? The last chord I played?
That's it.
I don't
That's
know what
it.
it's
Yeah,
called.
yeah.
All right.
Diminished sevenths, augmented fifths, and particularly, Brian Bull's not with us on this call anymore, is he?
Brian's not
Major-
well.
No,
Brian-
he's not. Oh, is he not well?
Brian's got COVID at the minute, as has his lady.
Oh, dear,
Locked
oh,
away at the moment. For a
Anyway, well, I won't personalise it. I'll just say major seventh chords.
Hang on. Folk music is a living language, and any language that doesn't change isn't living.
David, you're absolutely right. I retract my last remarks unreservedly.
No.
Move on. Come
Three
on,
song
move.
warning, some major sevenths.
Richard's
My
already
tradition is
gone.
that I upset people, so it was a traditional song.
I actually have to also say that fighting for peace is like eating to lose weight. But
That's
that's
right,
just a
yeah,
personal
yeah.
opinion.
Well.
There we are.
It's a shame the Pritchards have already gone because I had a question for him, but Gaffer might be able to help me out because while you were doing the January man, Alan, I thought I know this is a long song. I have time to go for a pee. So what is it about asparagus that can work its way very quickly through and become an aromatic substance in the bowl? Gaffer?
Aromatic. Dubiously aromatic.
It can stink you out.
Quick after you eat it.
Stink you
Smell
out.
the other smells in John's house.
Oh, yes.
I think I'd put it down to the molecules. I reckon it's the molecules that does it, but
That's
I'm
the
sure
problem.
that's what I'm thinking.
If we could eliminate molecules, we'd be fine, Gaffer.
Yeah,
Well,
well that's going to
Oh,
be
no, because people make bombs out of atoms.
Bollocks.
Yeah. No, molecules, not bollocks.
Mr. Hawkins, I hope you're going to do Sandy Denny's song. Cause, is it about 50 years since she died or something?
Is it? I don't know, actually. You mean, who knows where the time goes?
Yeah.
I'll do that. No, I'll do it next week. I'll have to just brush up on the words first.
Right, well, come on then, get doing something.
So this is this is called The Month of January. It's about a servant girl who's taken advantage of and thrown out because she gets pregnant.
Typical bloody Tories again.
It is, yeah, it's terrible, really. They're in a no-win situation, weren't they? These servant girls, if they played up or they took it to the authorities what had been done to them, they got the sack, and they wouldn't win anyway. And if they were pregnant, they got the sack because they were pregnant. Ah, dear me, what a horrible situation to be in for them. It's better to be ugly in those days, I think. Anyway. The Month of January, it's called. It was in the month of January, the hills all clad with snow, and all the hills and valleys with with my love I did go. 'Twas there I met a fair young maid, with a salt tear in her eye. She had a baby in her arms, and bitter did she cry. Cruel was my father who barred the door to me, and cruel was my mother that dreadful deed to see, and cruel was my old true love that he changed his mind for gold, and cruel was the bitter wind that pierced my heart with cold. The taller that a pine tree grows, the sweeter is the bark, and the sweeter that a young man speaks, the falser is his heart. For he'll kiss you and embrace you till he thinks he has you won. Then he'll go away and leave you all for some other one. Come all you fair and handsome girls, a warning take by me, and never seek to build your nest up in a higher tree, for the green leaves they will wither, and the branches will decay, and the beauty of your own true love will surely fade away. 'Twas in the month of January, the hills all clad with snow, as o'er the hills and valleys with my love I did go. 'Twas there I met a fair young maid, with a salt tear in her eye. She had a baby in her arms, and bitter did she cry. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you.
That ain't half bad, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to who knows where the time goes already. Davis.
Hello.
Hello.
Once again. Right. Well, for my second offering, I have a song which was inspired by. I was inspired to perform it because I was doing a crossword a couple of weeks ago and discovered that it was dedicated to Humphrey Lyttelton and had a theme of I'm sorry I haven't a clue, and in particular one song to the tune of another. Now, I find, mind you, that this song used to be sung to this tune that I'm going to sing it to now, and I'm going to dedicate it to Brian, who's still got his Christmas tree up, and going to dedicate it to Leslie, and I'll dedicate it doubly to John. And it goes after this fashion. While shepherds watch their flocks by night, all seated on the ground, The angel of the Lord came down. The angel of the Lord came down. And glory shone around, and glory shone around, and glory shone around. Fear not, said he, for mighty dread had seized their troubled mind. Glad tidings of great joy I bring, glad tidings of great joy I bring. To you and all mankind, to you and all mankind, to you and all mankind. To you in David's town this day is born of David's line a Saviour who is Christ the Lord, a Saviour who is Christ the Lord. And this shall be the sign, and this shall be the sign, and this shall be the sign. The heavenly babe you there shall find, to human view displayed, all meanly wrapped in swaddling bands, all meanly wrapped in swaddling bands, and in a manger laid, and in a manger laid, and in a manger laid. Thus spake the seraph, and forthwith appeared a shining throng of angels praising God, who thus, of angels praising God, who thus addressed a joyful song, addressed a joyful song, addressed their joyful song. Last verse all together. All glory be to God on high, God on high, and on the earth be peace. Goodwill henceforth from heaven to men, goodwill henceforth from heaven to men. Begin and never cease, begin and never cease, begin and never cease.
Well, David.
Oh.
That was wonderful.
Come back nearer the time doesn't even get close, does it?
Not really, no. I might do though, John.
Oh.
You're not careful.
Lovely. Bugger off, John.
Welsh was very good in that, David. Even I understood it.
Well, brilliant. Do you want a translation?
No, we want to move on to Susan.
How do we follow that?
Yes.
That was wonderful.
The bucket and shovel.
Right. Well, this is sort of an indirect request because everybody will know that Alain, whatever you pronounce it, Rhys Jones is a staunch royalist, and he's always asking if we know any songs about the royal family, and this is the only one we know.
How very dare you?
Or Major 7th Alert.
Oh no!
I would like to leave this city. This old town don't smell too pretty, and I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. And when I leave this island, I'll book myself into a soul asylum, 'cause I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. So here I go, still scratching around in the same old hole. My body feels young, but my mind is very old. So what do you say? You can't give me the dreams that are mine anyway. You have the world away, half the world away, half the world away. I've been lost, I've been found, but I don't feel down. And when I leave this planet, you know I'd stay, but I just can't stand it. I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. And if I could leave this spirit, I'd find me a hole and hide it in it. I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. So here I go, I'm still scratching around in the same old hole. My body feels young, but my mind is very old. So what do you say? You can't give me the dreams that are mine anyway. You have the world away, half the world away, half the world away. I've been lost, I've been found, but I don't feel down. No, I don't feel down.
I could see Ricky Tomlinson sitting there turning the telly on.
All those major sevenths, and then he added another at the end.
That was for you.
You stinker. Thank you.
You
I don't mind major
the F
sevenths.
word enough, though, Brian.
Sorry?
Oh, Brian, so you didn't use the F word enough.
No.
I was watching a documentary about Oasis, and the language. I mean, I'm not an innocent, but
Oh, yes, you are.
Oh, yes, you well are.
Liam Gallagher used the F word about 30,000 times in a half an hour programme. I just thought, I can't listen to
Well,
it.
he needs gassing, really, doesn't he?
He does.
His brother's okay, but he needs gassing.
Yeah, it's just terrible. Bloody
Oh,
life.
no.
It was effing awful, it was.
Bit like Sean Ryder then, isn't it?
Oh, no! Look, me bottle's empty. Oh, no, Vera, no.
Oh, no. Echo, darling.
I've got one.
Oh, no.
I've got one too, Alan.
Oh, at least Brian's got some.
Yeah. That's a Christmas present. Gone.
Anyhow.
He's got some Aberfrau biscuits.
Oh, no.
No, we haven't.
You haven't sent me any, you miserable git.
But has he got any WRU gold? Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, he does.
Every can bought helps the Welsh Rugby Union kick the shit out the English Rugby Union.
Susan,
We're
give
going to
us
be
the
playing
song.
in
Come on.
England, apparently. Yeah, you're going to be playing in England soon. That'd be cool.
It would have been me, so we'll just leave
Susan!
Yeah.
Give us a
Did
song.
I hear chariots of fire?
Come on, Sue, give us a song.
No, it was going to be me, so Susan joined in. We'll just leave it at one then. Unless I can persuade her another song
Oh,
later.
gosh, no. We were going to do one
Oh,
together.
please.
So, should we do that?
Please, oh, please.
Yeah, do that. Whatever it was, do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Pretty please. There we are. I'll say pretty please. There you
Ah.
Oh, even better.
No major sevenths in it.
As Liam Gallagher would say, you effing do one. Billy Connolly used to get away with it, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't sound it.
Yeah, but Billy was funny.
He
Billy
funny.
was funny.
It sounded normal for him to do that.
Right. It's the song by, and I want everybody to guess where it is, by Jerry Jeff Walker. No, Mr. Bojangles. I knew a man, Bojangles, and he danced for you in worn-out shoes, silver hair, a ragged shirt, and baggy pants. That old soft shoe, he jumped so high, jumped so high. Then he lightly touched down. I met him in a cell down in New Orleans. I was down and out. He looked to me to be the eyes of age as he spoke right out. He talked of life, talked of life, laughed and slapped his legs a spell. He said his name, Bojangles, and he danced the lake across the sound. He grabbed his pants and spread his stance, for he jumped so high. And he clicked his heels, let go alive, let go alive, shook his clothes all around. Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, dance. Dance for those in minstrel shows and county fairs throughout the South. He spoke through tears how for 15 years his dog and him traveled about. The dog up and down, dog up and down. After 20 years he still grieves. He said, I'll dance now at every chance in honky tonks, for drinks and tips, but most of the time I spend behind these county bars, 'cause I drink some beers. He shook his head, and as he shook his head, I heard someone ask him, please. Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, dance. Mr. Bojangles, dance.
Lovely, Brian. Thanks, Sue. Brilliant. Well worth waiting for. Glad we made you do another one.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Sue. Love it.
You're very
You see, that was worth making the effort for, wasn't it? Eh? And we've got all these other people accompanying you.
Oh, you see, Mr. Shepherd.
E flat. Thank
Yeah.
you very much, E flat,
E-flat.
Major. Thank you.
Right, where are we now? Oh, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, good to see you there now.
There we are.
Well, good to see you too. Alan Taylor. You're misty on the water, foggy on the dawn. When I tried to follow after, looked and found you gone. Where did you go? For when it's misty on the water, it's hard to see. Looking for a rainbow from a clean shower of rain. Rainfall makes the waters flow, and you sailed away again. Where did you go? For when it's misty on the water, it's hard to see. And if you need a harbour to shelter from the storm, well, you need look no farther. Come back and sail again with me. When it's misty on the water, well, it's hard to see. Misty on the water, foggy on the dawn. when I tried to follow after. Looked and found you gone, oh where could you be? For when it's misty on the water, well it's hard to see, so hard to see, so hard to see.
Lovely.
Beautiful, Jeff.
Very good.
Lovely.
I'm going to have to disappear. I'm being called to do something else, so I'll have to bid you good night and look forward to seeing you again. Are you doing this next Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're all very calmed by you, Jeff, as befits your.
Yeah, five milligrams was great for me. Yeah, it's just eased me down.
We've all had a whole
lovely to see
Durno.
you, Jeff, and we'll be back here next week, and probably, well, undoubtedly the week after, and just keep an eye on the website or the Facebook page, and we'll sort of keep in touch. And Mike sends, if we've got your email, Mike sends an email out when he can remember.
Oh,
which is most weeks.
Yeah.
And the breath are always there on Wednesday.
Oh, I know you're there on Wednesday.
Oh,
I'll
yes.
try and be there.
Right. Okay, good night, Jeff.
All right,
Good night, Jeff, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
Actually, you should call this club now, John, The Breath.
The breath.
The halitosis.
Yes, indeed.
Go on, sing the song, John.
We're sailing in a strange boat, heading for a strange shore. We're sailing in a strange boat, heading for a strange shore, carrying the strangest cargo was ever hauled aboard. We're sailing on a strange sea, blown by a strange wind. We're sailing in a strange sea, blown by a strange wind, carrying the strangest crew that ever sinned. We're riding in a strange car, we're following a strange star, we're climbing on the strangest ladder that was ever there to climb. We're living in a strange time, working for a strange goal. We're working in a strange time, working for a strange goal. We're turning flesh and body into soul.
Hey. Lovely, John.
That was lovely, John and Carol. Lovely.
That's a Waterboys song, and yeah, there you go. Lovely, lovely song. I love it.
Beautiful.
Not heard you do that before, John.
You won't have done, because I've only done it now. Carol is coming, you know. There you go.
Oh, God, you remembered her again.
Bloody hell, that's great. The record's coming here.
Yeah.
Shut up.
It won't last.
Peter, not all cars can be mended.
Oh.
I've just written this poem now.
So it's not a proper poem then?
No.
Well, none of my poems are proper poems. I had a Blues or a Picasso. A lovely little car. I had it for more than 13 years. We travelled near and far. She'd done more than 211,000 miles and was just over 20 years old. The most reliable car we'd ever had, and would start first time even when it was cold. More than just a car, almost like a friend. So I really was quite saddened when a Ford Transit van brought her to an end. It happened at midday on the eve of New Year. The road was wet, a right-hand bend, his brakes locked on. Car stopped, his skid. The end. Thank you.
What a shame.
Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it? Because that car would have probably kept you. It might have been worth bugger all, but to replace it costs you, you know.
We're looking for another Picasso, obviously, but yeah, that car was amazing. You get in it, it'd start, you'd go anywhere in it and come back again. And then she goes round the corner and there's this bloody great Ford Transit skidding towards her. But, you know, there you go. That's life, boy. Should we carry on next?
You could always get somebody like a Scouse or somebody like Keith Price to go and nick one for you.
He'll be listening.
Yes, I know he will. And it's about time you started turning up on Zoom, Keith.
I need to see Keith Price. I've not seen him for ages. And yeah, I like Keith very much.
Too busy nicking cars.
Well, somebody's got to, haven't they? He's sort of pretty much vegetarian and teetotal now, so he's probably, you know, become
a new man.
A really boring fart. But, yeah,
Of course, the mistake you make in a Picasso is going round a corner in the first place. My last car was a Picasso, so I know going round the corner is a strange affair.
13 no wonder your face looks cubic.
I've always had Citroens, personally. Carol, it was your first Citroen, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've driven Citroens for 20.
Yeah, me too.
Whatever.
And Peugeots.
And I wouldn't do anything else. I have a C5 1.6 HDI.
The French need our help. That's the point.
Yes, indeed. This is true. Right, I'm going to shut up now.
Yeah, shut up.
Boring.
Yeah, boring. Brian.
Okay, this is a song written by Alan Merrill and Jake Hooker and sung by the British band The Arrows in the 1970s and covered by the American band Joan Jett and the Blackhearts in the 1980s. It's a sweet little folk song and it's called I Love Rock and Roll. I saw her dancing there by the record machine. I knew she must have been about 17. The beat was going strong and playing my favourite song. And I could tell it wouldn't be long till she was with me, yeah, me. And I could tell it wouldn't be long till she was with me, yeah, me. singing, I love rock and roll. So put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. So come and take your time and dance with me. Ow! She smiled, so I got up and asked her for her name. But that don't matter, 'cause she said it's all the same. I said I can take you home where we can be alone. And next morning we were moving on and she was with me. Yeah, me. Next we were moving on and she was with me. Yeah, me. Singing, I love rock and roll. So put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. So come and take your time and dance with me. Ow! I said I can take you home where we can be alone. Next we were moving on and she was with me. Yeah, me. And we're moving on and singing that same old song. Yeah, with me. Singing, I love rock and roll. So put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. So come and take your time and dance with me. Ow! I saw her dancing there by the record machine. I knew she must have been about 17. The beat was going strong and playing my favourite song. And I could tell it wouldn't be long till she was with me, yeah, me. And I knew could tell it wouldn't be long till she was with me, yeah, me. Singing, I love rock and roll. So put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. So come and take your time and dance with me. Ow! She smiled, so I got up and asked her for her name. But that don't matter, she said, 'cause it's all the same. I said I can take you home where we can be alone. And next morning we were moving on and she was with me, yeah, me. Next morning we were moving on and she was with me, yeah, me. Singing, I love rock and roll. So put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. So come and take your time and dance with me. Ow! I said I can take you home where we can be alone. Next we were moving on, he was with me, yeah, me. And we'd be moving on and singing that old song, yeah, with me. Singing, I love rock and roll. So put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. So come and take your time and dance with me. Ow! I love rock and roll. So put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. So come and take your time and dance with me. I love rock and roll. So put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. So come and take your time and dance with me. Yes, I love rock and roll. A sweet little folk song.
Maybe ask your GP if you can change your medication a bit, Brian.
Yeah, you might go around to jumping out of airplanes again to see if you can lower your excitement levels.
Recent
When you got to
surgery
the
has
line-
changed you. You've changed, Brian. This is not the Brian. This is not the same person. He's got the same jumper. He's got the same haircut, glasses. It's not the same person.
Well, I think my voice is gone after that.
When you got to the line saying she looked about 17, I don't know why a member of the royal family came to mind, but there we are. Right, Terry, unmute yourself.
Oh, Cliff Richard.
Yes, Move It. First
Yeah.
British rock and roll record. Great one. That was great. That was lovely. Really good. Right. I'm going to do this one because this is the first song I did at Rhyl back in November 2020, so you've all forgotten it. You won't remember my doing it. There's always a time when water tastes like wine, when the song in your heart, it all falls apart on the starting line. You're losing the day, afraid of what the people might say, so hold on to your lover, you won't find another who won't slip away. So hold your heart, hold on to your heart, and don't give it away to the first one standing in line. So hold your heart, your poor old heart, and if you think you might lose it, well, you can leave it with mine. It's the same old lies, they take you by surprise, but you can't stop believing in that old sweet religion and its thin disguise. You try to pretend your heart is your only friend, but you're losing the thread of all that was said, and now you're lost again. So hold your heart, hold on to your heart, and don't give it away to the first one standing in line. So hold your heart, your poor old heart, and if you think you might lose it, you can leave it with mine. Give it away to the first one standing in line. So hold your heart, your poor old heart, and if you think you might lose it, you can leave it with mine.
Oh, yes.
Gorgeous.
What on that's coming up.
Yeah, very thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Wow. I think you'd learn some new bloody songs, wouldn't you?
You would, yeah.
Learn stuff every week.
He sits there in Essex in front of his model planes.
Yeah. Well,
And he just waits for another Friday to come along.
What's so special about a VC-10?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, my dad used to fly them. That's what it was. Yes. He started off in Tiger Moths and then went on to Lancasters, and then flew through the war. And then after the war, he went through all the old BOAC stuff.
Small to have got into one of those, mustn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Has he ever ridden a Sopwith camel, though?
I never did, but he made one as an Airfix, I think, a long time ago.
Didn't we all? Didn't we all?
I always found that the glue you'd end up with strings of glue as you brought your hands away. Strings of glue.
But did you notice the pilot? They always had a pilot in them, and he always had a big moustache. Well, for a little pilot, anyway.
He never had any legs, did he? Just sat him on the seat.
You hold up his back so you stuck him on a little.
Parder. It was Douglas Parder.
Douglas played it before his time.
Oh, Douglas Parder.
Yeah.
Douglas Parder.
Kenneth Moore.
Oh, indeed. He played it well.
Sky, yeah, reach for the sky.
The Airfix glue used
played
to
it well. Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Genevieve, I remember
Vaseline
Genevieve
to
as
stop it
well.
making those whiskers.
And the harmonica. Yeah. I'll shush now.
Yes, everybody should.
Vaseline to stop it making those whiskers. When you're using your hot glue guns and things like that, and any glue that goes whiskery, put a bit of Vaseline on the end of the nozzle.
No, in all his dreams.
I always put a bit of Vaseline on the end of me nozzle, Lizzie.
Exactly. See?
Let's move on.
Works perfectly for
Good
me.
night, everybody.
Here we go now. Yeah, good night, everybody.
Oh, good night, Andy.
Thank you.
Good night, Mike. Mike's going as well.
Vaseline on your nozzle. Vaseline.
Moving on.
Works incredibly well in the crafting world, trust me.
Help us out, Mike. Please help us out,
Great
Mike.
to have an intro.
Range of intellectual conversation you get here, isn't it?
It's amazing, isn't it?
Always. Yeah.
No wonder we come
What a
back.
song.
Right.
Okay. I think this is Alan might describe this song as poignant. It's a Derek Ryan song. As I went out walking on a fine summer's day, through hills and the valleys, I soon lost my way, till I came to an old man kneeling down by a stream, gazing into the water like he was lost in a dream. In his hand was a picture he clung to for life, his eyes filled with tears as he tried not to cry. He looked into the heavens and started to pray. In the quiet country silence, I could hear the man say, life is a river, I'll go with the flow. And where will it take me? The Lord only knows. I'll miss you, sweetheart, your kindness and love. But I know one day we'll sail away on God's ocean above. Said, now young man, you're a stranger to me. Could I bother you kindly for your company? Today I am thinking of a time long ago, and I need to tell someone of a girl I loved so. It's 42 years today since a rose took my hand, and proudly I lived life, her husband, her man, till only last week some God took her away. As I kissed her softly, these words she did say: life is a river, I'll go with the flow. And where will it take me? The Lord only knows. I'll miss you, sweetheart, your kindness and love. But I know one day we'll sail away on God's ocean above. And with that the old man sent me on my way, and sat by the water. I'll kneel for the day. I look at the river, starting out on its life. It's where I feel close to my beautiful wife. Life is a river, I'll go with the flow. And where will it take me? The Lord only knows. I'll miss you, sweetheart, your kindness and love. But I know one day we'll sail away on God's ocean above. I know one day we'll sail away on God's ocean above. Thank you.
Right, Mike. Chwarae teg.
Yeah,
Fair play.
right, wasn't it? That, not bad.
That was lovely.
To say managed without Helen.
Yeah, she's gone now. Where's she gone now? She's down the bus station swinging a handbag for extra cash
Well,
for
we could
shopping
do that.
at Waitrose. Other supermarkets are available.
I knew I shouldn't have left you till that.
But not in
It was
sewing.
a mistake.
You should have got a biscuit sponsor instead of a beer one.
I have got a biscuit. I got a biscuit sponsor. Look, I got a biscuit sponsor.
Oh, you don't eat that shite.
Bacon.
Oh no!
Oh
no! Oh no!
Is that not Bertie's dog food?
Ian.
No. What's David showing us?
I'm showing you a black
Remains.
cock, which proves it's a Chianti Classico.
You're showing us your black cock.
A black cock, I said. Yes, it is
okay.
mine, as it happens.
Okay.
Use the elastic band, David.
As long as that's clear. Thank you, Izzy.
Save us, Ian, save us.
Okay, right, yes. Right, so the first half I sang a song by the New Seekers, now there's a song by the original Seekers from 1965, and it's I'll Never Find Another You. There's a new world somewhere they call the Promised Land, and I'll be there someday if you will hold my hand. I still need you there beside me, no matter what I do, for I know I'll never find another you. There is always someone for each of us, they say, and you'll be my someone forever and a day. I can search the whole world over until my life is through, for I know I'll never find another you. It's a long, long journey, so stay by my side. When I walk through the storm, you'll be my guide, be my guide. If they gave me a fortune, my treasure would be small. I could lose it all tomorrow and never mind at all. But if I should lose your love, dear, I don't know what I'd do, for I know I'll never find another you. It's a long, long journey, so stay by my side. When I walk through the storm, you'll be my guide, be my guide. If they gave me a fortune, my treasure would be small. I could lose it all tomorrow and never mind at all. But if I should lose your love, dear, I don't know what I'd do, for I know I never find another you. Another you, another you. Okay, thanks very much.
Oh, the big finish. Big finish, Ian.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Listen, Ian, pour yourself a glass of something now, because I think you deserve it.
Oh, thank you very much, Alan. Yeah, cheers, thank you.
That high note at the end.
A glass of water, I think he means.
High note at the end, yeah.
No, nice again.
Yeah, good night, Peter. See you tomorrow.
Alan, don't drink anymore.
Night, Peter.
No, I won't, John. I'll just sip it.
We always knew.
Yeah, I've seen you
were
sipping before.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Since I were a nipper, I've had this here wish to marry a girl who could drink like a fish. I'd need no excuses for getting home late. She'd be in an equally horrible state. When I'd hit the beers, then me Rosie'd hit gin. She just held back her head while they shovelled it in. Then she would sing songs that really girls shouldn't sing. When Rosie went drinking with me, everyone wanted to be drinking with Rosie. When Rosie went drinking with me, she never had eyes for good-looking guys. I was the apple of her old mince pies. Everyone wanted to be drinking with Rosie. When Rosie went drinking with me, each Saturday night we'd have a good scrub, then we'd go for a bit of a do down the pub. We'd have a few drinks and a bit of a croon, but nobody cared if you sang out of tune. Old Joe's piano was as old as could be, and the lady what played it was 73, grabbing handfuls of notes in no particular key. When Rosie went drinking with me, everyone wanted to be drinking with Rosie. When Rosie went drinking with me, she never had eyes for good-looking guys. I was the apple of her old mince pies. Everyone wanted to be drinking with Rosie. When Rosie went drinking with me, a fella once said she should drink from a trough, so in no uncertain way she showed him where to get off. After she'd clocked him and counted to 10, she helped him get up, then she kneed him again. That's one thing for Rosie, she does a good job. Now he's wishing he'd never opened his gob. She'd take on the whole pub for a couple of bob. When Rosie went drinking with me, everyone wanted to be drinking with Rosie. When Rosie went drinking with me, she never had eyes for good-looking guys. I was the apple of her eyes. Everyone wanted to be drinking with Rosie. When Rosie went drinking with me, everyone wanted to be drinking with Rosie. When Rosie went drinking with me. Great ball.
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff.
Excellent. Yeah, it was actually excellent. I hate to say it. It was, yeah, maybe I'm tired.
It's his sponsors. He's just got a cassette recorder in his shirt, in his jumper there. That's what it is.
Well, like the Action Man Commando, you sort of pull the string.
Yeah.
Yes, Rhyl Folk Club Control Fall In or something.
Linda.
Hiya. Okay, I am going to do One of Us. If God had a name, what would it be, and would you call it to his face? If you were faced with him in all his glory, what would you ask if you had just one question? Yeah, God is great. Yeah, God is good. Yeah. What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Just a stranger on the bus, trying to make his way home. If God had a face, what would it look like, and would you want to see? If seeing meant that you would have to believe in things like heaven and in Jesus and the saints and all the prophets. Yeah, God is great. Yeah, God is good. Yeah. What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Just a stranger on the bus, trying to make his way home. Like a holy rolling stone, back up to heaven all alone. Nobody calling on the phone, except for the Pope maybe in Rome.
Now, Linda, don't think those major seventh chords went unnoticed. And Terry Hiscock, that diminished seventh in your introduction. Oh, they're all going down on my list.
I don't have to cheat that one either. The B minor is a bit difficult. I just can't do the barring, but I can do that one.
It's these that just spot things. Sorry.
Right. We're with Gaffer. He's sitting quietly.
Hey up.
As
Any
usual,
diminished
I might add.
sevenths or major sevenths or minor sevenths or
minor sevenths are fine.
Minor fourths, a major fifth.
I can't really sing chords. I can sing duets with my mate, but apart from that, I'm not really a chord person, because if this one sings this one can't sing at the same time, see? And I don't even know what the interval is. I think it's the bit when they come in and sell
Oh, don't get into intervals. Talk about
that's when
intervals.
they sell the ice creams, isn't it?
Don't start him off, Gaffer. Don't start him off.
There's a welcome in Cornwall just waiting for you. We put up some signposts to show where we to. So come down and see us, but don't stop too long. More signposts will guide you back where you belong. If you're looking for sunshine, for sand and for sea, there's places that's cheaper and warmer than we. Rivieras and Costas, and at least one Algarve. If you comes down, we grumbles. If not, that we starves. Now some call them tourists, or grockles, or worse. Some calls them emmets, and some simply curse. I calls them hemorrhoids, said Merv, for he passed. They come down in bunches, and I'm a pain in the arse. There's a welcome in Cornwall, just waiting for you. They put up some signposts to show where we'm to. So come down and see us, but don't stop too long. More signposts will guide you back where you belong. There's fishermen's cottages, quaint as you get. They'm pretty as pictures, but never forget. If humans and Ives or Polperro or Lou, they'm quaint 'cause we built 'em for us, not for you. When you come down to see us, there's a load you can do. Museums and gardens and posh restaurants too. But all these attractions are no use to us. They'm stuffed full all summer, and in winter they'm shut. Ah, the Duke of Cornwall just waiting for you. We put up some signposts to show where we'm to. So come down and see us, but don't stop too long. More signposts will guide you back where you belong. 'Cause the place where we live's better looking than yours. There's some folks that says we'm no better than whores, prostituting our homeland to keep off the dole. Us don't sell our bodies, just rents out our soul. Oh, a trip down to Cornwall is good for your health. Or as somebody said once, contentment is wealth. So we hope you're contented as homeward you go. 'Cause you'll have your memories and we'll have your dough. There's a welcome in Cornwall just waiting for you. We put up some signposts to show where we to. So come down and see us, but don't stop too long. More signposts will guide you back where you belong. Our real Cornish calendar's a beautiful thing. It don't have no pictures, just two big red rings, marking the date that the first tourist comes, and the date that the last piss off back where he's from. The Cornish were always fine, hard-working souls, ploughing fields, ploughing waves, digging tin out of holes. We don't risk our lives no more digging for tin. Us sits on our backside while you brings it in. There's a welcome in Cornwall just waiting for you. We've put up some signposts to show where we'm to. So come down and see us, but don't stop too long. More signposts will guide you back where you belong.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's about low G. You're in low G.
Had me throat fitted.
It's all that lagging. That's the thing.
It does keep the January out.
It's almost in tune with my bottom string there, which is a bottom F sharp.
No, it ought to be a G.
Ah.
Most things ought to be.
String.
Right.
I
Chaz
love
and
that
Jam.
one, Gaffer, thank you.
Okay, guys, for the
Right.
the 17 stalwarts left, it's percussion time. So, Jan? I'll sing of an outlet that fills me with dread. It's blue and it's yellow, but I always see red. It's a furniture store that makes me want to shout. 'Cause once you get in, you can't find your way out. That's why I fear IKEA. I won't go there again. I don't want a bookcase called Billy or a table called Sven. Don't go over Saturday if you don't want to queue, and that don't include our on M62. If you go over Wednesday, well, you just got to laugh. It's the size of Belgium, but there's no bloody staff. That's why I fear IKEA. I won't go there again. I don't want a bookcase called Billy or a table called Sven. It's a good 10-mile walk if you just want a shelf. What, you mean I have to go to warehouse and get it myself? Well, I struggled with trolley, didn't get very far. And the boxes were that big they didn't fit in the car. That's why I fear IKEA. I won't go there again. I don't want a bookcase called Billy or a table called Sven. Michael Palin, he's travelled this world once or twice. They said, go and explore IKEA, Michael. That'd be nice. Well, the men at the beat must have been off their heads. He went missing last Tuesday between kitchens and beds. That's why I fear IKEA. I won't go there again. I don't want a bookcase called Billy or a table called Sven. That's why I fear IKEA. I won't go there again. I don't want a bookcase called Billy or a table called Sven.
Dio.
Now, I'm not one to criticise.
Oh, go on.
Oh, you are?
Oh, yes, you are.
Oh, you sure are?
I was playing along, and it started in E major.
It did.
And it ended in E flat major. So a little droop, a little brewer's droop, I think, at the end, maybe.
Only a tiny one, Alan. Only a tiny
I say, I'll drink to that.
But when you sing unaccompanied, it really doesn't matter.
Exactly. Who's
Otherwise,
counting?
brats like me are trying to play along. That's it. That's what it was.
My personal record is 17 key changes.
Within 32 verses.
That's why you're the gaffer.
Danani, lovely.
No.
What we doing? Are you doing anything else, or are you
Yeah, I'm fine. I've brought out a bass trombone.
It's a jazz and jam. Are you just necking your gin?
Of course you are. No. They've got plenty. They are necking.
Right, it's you, Alan.
I have a bass trombone.
You have?
That's where you keep your gel at night.
What are you effing doing?
I'll add some drums to him, John. Would you like a timely tumhorrol? What's tumhorrol in English, David?
Timely, as you said.
Seasonal. Yes, thank you. Seasonal. Thank you, Jan. Seasonal song. Seasonal song. I have with a chorus. Oh! Excuse me, one moment. I just prevail upon
backdrop,
you.
Al, backdrop.
I'll change my. Thank you, Al. I'll change. Thank you very much, Mr. Manouche. His job. He had one job this evening, and that was to remind me to put this backdrop up. And you will see that it's a chorus. And if you can read the worms, it's a wassailing song. And wassailing is an ancient thing. Children pretend not to be your children, and they knock on your doors and they ask you for stuff. Even though you're very poor, you have to give them stuff. It's trick or treat, actually. It's the same thing. But it used to happen around New Year. And it's a great song. It's a lovely song. Oh, it might be a group of mummers coming in from the distance like this. Here's the chorus. Here we come a-wassailing among the leaves so green. Here we come a-wandering, so fairly to be seen. Now it's winter time, strangers travel far and near. We wish you, send you a happy new year. Bass trombone. There he is, lovely boy. Bud and blossom, bud and blossom, bud and bloom and bear, so we may have plenty of cider all next year. Apple and a cherry, give us if you please. Give us hungry wassailers a lump of bread and cheese. Here we come a-wassailing among the leaves so green. Here we come a-wandering, so fairly to be seen. Now it's winter time, strangers travel far and near. We wish you, send you a happy new year. Bass trombone, here he comes. A lovely boy. We hopes that all your barley shall prosper, fine and grow, so you may have plenty and a bit more to bestow. We hopes your wethers they grow fat, likewise all your ewes. And where that you had one lamb, where that you had one lamb, we hopes that you'll have two. Here we come a-wassailing among the leaves so green. Here we come a-wandering, so fairly to be seen. Now is winter time, strangers travel far and near. We wish you, send you a happy new year. A little bit of rubato, I think there was. Down here in the muddy lane there lies an old red fox, shaking and a slavering and licking his old chops. Bring us out your table, spread it if you please. Give us hungry wassailers a lump of bread and cheese. Here we come a-wassailing among the leaves so green. Here we come a-wandering, so fairly to be seen. Now it's winter time, strangers travel far and near. We wish you, send you a happy new year. I've got a little purse and it's made of leather skin. A little silver sixpence would line it well within. Bring us out your table, spread it if you please, and bring us hungry wassailers a lump of bread and cheese. Here we come a-wassailing among the leaves so green. Here we come a-wandering, so fairly to be seen. Now it's winter time, strangers travel far and near. We wish you, send you a happy new year. Here we come a-wassailing among the leaves so green. Here we come a-wandering, so fairly to be seen. Now it's winter time, strangers travel far and near. And we wish you, send you a happy new year.
A happy new year to one and all.
Finish.
Wonderful.
You see the marching off of the Oh, lovely.
That's great, Alan.
That sounded like a Morris tune to me. I'm not sure it is.
Mr. Alan Rhys-Jones, do you know the Death and Glory wassail?
No, but I do. I was just thinking I'll dig that out for next week.
Oh,
We won't need to come back next week. We've done 4 hours tonight. We can
John, that's number 7 from Paul this evening. 7. He's on the list.
Actually, one of the best wassailing tricks was by the plough boys who used to come round in about January as well, at sort of Plough Monday time. If you had a rich enough house that you had sort of grounds and things and looked as though you could furnished quite a lot. If you didn't supply them with as much as sort of they demanded to, next day you'd have a rather unmanicured front lawn left behind.
Essentially, it's a protection racket, isn't it?
Indeed.
Yeah.
It's an age-old protection racket, and there's nothing wrong with
I reckon they ought to bring New Year in at lunchtime. And they'd save a fortune in fireworks.
We can carry on with a bit of chat after, but I'm going to stop the recording so you can watch all this shite tomorrow at some point.
Stop the recording before then, John.
Recording stop.
Find the there's the button.
Recording stop.
I'm going to press the button.
Good night.
Don't do it.
He's done it. He's done it. He's done it. Look.